Hold up, did Apple just drop the biggest surprise? Because if you thought this year was going to be quiet after all the iPhone 17 announcements, think again. We've got breaking news about the iPhone 17e that is going to change everything you thought you knew about Apple's release schedule. I am talking about a potential launch next week. Yes, you heard that right, next week, and the leaks we are getting are absolutely wild. We are looking at design changes, major chip upgrades, camera improvements, and pricing that might actually make sense for once. So grab your coffee, settle in, because we're about to break down everything we know about the iPhone 17e and why this could be Apple's smartest move yet. Trust me, by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this phone matters and whether you should be getting excited or keeping your wallet locked away. Let me start with the bombshell that has everyone talking right now. The iPhone 17e could be launching as early as next week. Now I know what you are thinking. That sounds crazy, right? But here is the thing. If you have been paying attention to Apple's patterns, this actually makes perfect sense. Last year in 2024, we got the iPhone 16e around the same time frame. So we are talking about exactly 1 year later, which fits Apple's typical release cycle perfectly. And here is what makes this even more believable. Apple just posted one of their classic cryptic announcements. Tim Cook dropped a post on social media saying, "A big week ahead. It all starts Monday morning." That's classic Apple right there. No product names, no detailed hints, just enough to get everyone talking. And based on all the leaks we've been seeing, the iPhone 17e is the most likely candidate for this surprise announcement. Now let's talk about the second major leak that has me really excited. Jeff Pu, who's been pretty reliable with Apple leaks in the past, is confirming that the iPhone 17e is finally ditching the notch. Instead, we are getting the dynamic island that we have seen on the flagship iPhones for the past few years. This is huge news because the notch has been one of the biggest complaints about the previous E-model iPhones. People have been asking for this upgrade since the iPhone 14e came out. The dynamic island is not just about looks either. It actually provides better functionality with notifications and live activities. So if you have been holding off on upgrading because you did not want to deal with that old-school notch design, this could be the change you have been waiting for. Moving on to the third big piece of information, the overall design. Now, if you were hoping for a completely redesigned iPhone 17e, I have got some mixed news for you. Apple appears to be sticking with a very similar design to what we saw with the iPhone 16e. This means we have looking at a design that is basically the same as the iPhone 14, but with some modern touches. You will still get the same action button that replaced the old mute switch. The volume buttons will be in the same position. The USB-C port is staying exactly where it is. Basically, if you liked the iPhone 16e design, you will be happy. If you were hoping for something completely different, you might be a bit disappointed. But here is the thing. Sometimes keeping a good design is actually the smart move. The iPhone 14 design was solid and comfortable to hold, and people generally liked it. One thing that is staying the same is the screen size. We are looking at a 6.1-inch display, just like the iPhone 16e. Some people were hoping Apple might bump it up to 6.3 inches to match the regular iPhone 17, but that is not happening. Honestly, I think 6.1 inches is still a great size for most people. It is big enough for watching videos and browsing, but not so big that it becomes awkward to use with one hand. Now here is where things get really interesting, the performance upgrades. The iPhone 17e is expected to get the new A19 chip. This is not some old leftover chip from 2 years ago. This is cutting-edge performance that puts the 17e much closer to the flagship models. The A19 chip will probably be very similar to what we're seeing in the regular iPhone 17. The main difference is that it will likely have one less GPU core. So instead of a 5-core GPU, we're looking at a 4-core setup. But you are still getting the same 6-core CPU with 2 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores. This means everyday performance should be excellent. Apps will load faster, multitasking will be smoother, and you will have plenty of power for gaming and creative work. The efficiency improvements are also really important here. The A19 chip is more power efficient than the A18, which means better battery life. And speaking of efficiency, there is another upgrade that ties into this. The iPhone 17e is keeping the same C1 chip for cellular connectivity that we saw in the iPhone 16e, but here is the upgrade. We are getting the new N1 chip for Wi-Fi and networking. This N1 chip is more efficient than what came before, which means even better battery life. When you combine the more efficient A19 processor with the more efficient N1 networking chip, you're looking at potentially significant improvements in how long this phone lasts on a single charge. Now let's talk about the cameras, because this is always a big question with the E-model iPhones. The main camera on the back probably is not getting a massive overhaul, but there are hints that it might get upgraded to the same 48 megapixel sensor that we are seeing in the iPhone 17 and iPhone 17 Air. This would be a nice step up from whatever camera system was in the iPhone 16e. Better low light performance, more detail in your photos, and probably some improvements to video recording as well. Don't expect dual cameras on the back though. That is still going to be a feature that Apple reserves for the more expensive models. But here is something interesting about the front-facing camera. There are rumors that the dynamic island camera could get upgraded to the same 18 megapixel sensor that is in the full iPhone 17 lineup. This is actually a really good front-facing camera. It can shoot in both portrait and landscape orientations, and the image quality is genuinely impressive. For people who take a lot of selfies or do video calls, this could be a meaningful upgrade. Let's talk about when you can actually get your hands on this phone. If the leaks are accurate, we could see an announcement as early as next week. Do not expect a big fancy keynote event though. Apple will probably do what they did with the iPhone 16e last year, release a short video announcement and then make the phone available for order. It is a much more low-key approach than the main iPhone launches, but it gets the job done. The pricing is where things get a bit tricky. The expected launch price is around $599. Now, I know that sounds expensive, especially when you can get a regular iPhone 16 for just $100 more. But here is the thing about E-model pricing. It usually comes down pretty quickly. If you look at what happened with the iPhone 16e, about 3 to 4 months after launch, you could find it for around $499 at retailers like Best Buy and Amazon. Apple keeps their price the same, but third-party sellers start offering discounts. So if you are not desperate to get the phone on day one, waiting a few months could save you $100. Here is what makes the iPhone 17e potentially really compelling though. You are getting modern performance with the A19 chip. You are getting the dynamic island instead of the old notch. You are getting improved battery life from the more efficient components, and you are getting a camera system that should be noticeably better than previous E models. All of this in a package that costs significantly less than the flagship iPhones. For a lot of people, this could be the sweet spot between performance and price. The question is whether it makes sense to buy this over a regular iPhone 16 or iPhone 17. The iPhone 16 is only $100 more, but it is also using older chip technology. The iPhone 17 is more expensive, but gives you additional features like better cameras and build quality. The iPhone 17e sits right in the middle, newer performance than the 16, but fewer premium features than the 17. So here's my take on all of this. The iPhone 17e is shaping up to be one of the most interesting phones Apple has released in years. It is not trying to be everything to everyone, but it's delivering the core things that most people actually care about. Good performance, modern design, decent cameras, and a price that does not require selling a kidney. If you are someone who wants a new iPhone but does not need all the premium features of the flagship models, this could be exactly what you have been waiting for. The potential launch next week means we won't have to wait long to find out if these leaks are accurate. I am genuinely excited to see how this plays out. Are you planning to check out the iPhone 17e when it launches, or are you thinking about waiting for those price drops a few months later? Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about everything we have covered today. If this video helped you understand what to expect from the iPhone 17e, hit that like button. And if you want to stay updated on all the latest Apple news and leaks, make sure you are subscribed with notifications turned on. I will be covering the launch next week if it happens, plus we've got more iPhone 17 content coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye and peace out.